Hey guys, welcome to the show and thank you for listening. Don't forget to click on that subscribe button if you haven't yet. I really do appreciate you guys for the feedback, for engaging with my content on LinkedIn. Today, I want to do something special. I want to talk about more about the JRM Web Marketing Story. And I'm going to call this more of a short story on how I got started with JRM and why. I think that's a big thing, is talking about the why. I was inspired to talk about this episode from reading Dave Gerhardt's book, Founder Brand. If you haven't read that, check it out, because it gives you a lot of marketing ideas, questions that you could be and should be asking your founder, interviews with the founder, really good marketing ideas there. So I got the inspiration from there to do this episode. And on top of that, I also got some insights from people that they also want to know more about me and how and why I started JRM Web Marketing. So I'm seeing more people want to hear from the host than hearing from the guests. And it's interesting. I don't know if this is just a new trend that's happening right now where people just want that, or they've always wanted to hear from me more. I think I talk a lot, so I'm always talking. But yes, they want to hear my ideas. They want to hear my thoughts. They want to hear my strong opinions. They want to hear about what I think about when it comes to WordPress versus Webflow. They want to hear about all that stuff. So I'm more than happy to share it. But it also got me thinking about, Dave Gerhardt, he's had multiple podcast shows in his career. And I listened to a few, and I remember he would just bring on guests to the show. And I got tired of listening to those guests, not because they're boring or anything, but I was like, hey, I just want to hear from you. And I think that's where people are starting to get with me. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with sharing more about me. So I'm still going to bring on guests on the show, but I'm definitely going to share more about my thoughts, my opinions here and there on certain topics around B2B marketing and WordPress websites, since that's my jam. And today, why I also wanted to, so there's a lot of factors of why I chose this specific podcast episode, the JRM Web Marketing Short Story. Because one, from Dave Gerhardt's book, Founder Brand. Two, I resonated with what people said about wanting to hear more about me than my guests, because I felt that also with Dave Gerhardt when he was a podcast host for several of his shows. And then three, I want to help B2B marketers that are content creators on LinkedIn or TikTok or YouTube that are posting consistently and are starting to get invited to be a guest on other podcast shows. The reason why this is very important, and I wish somebody had told me this, was eventually when you're a content creator, you're going to, for me, I continue to post almost every day. But when I did it I challenged myself to post on LinkedIn for every day for a year straight. And I did. And after a year, people they see value in your content. They love your content. They engage with it. Engagement goes up, inbound leads go up, personal brand goes up. A lot of things go up. A lot of great things happen when you post consistently. And people started reaching out to me about, hey, we'd love for you to be a guest on our show. We're going to talk about we're just going to chop it up about B2B marketing. And we're going to talk about websites. And we'd love for you to talk about WordPress websites specifically. And I'm like, yeah, why not? So that's what we ended up doing. Now, here's the thing. I want to be completely honest with you. A few podcast hosts did their homework, asked me questions around me and JRM Web Marketing and how I got started with JRM Web Marketing, which is my company, for those that don't know. And I was not prepared for that. I wish somebody told me, hey, you need to create a short bio of yourself because you're going to talk about that. I felt insecure the first time I was asked about my story. I was like, where do I start? My teenage years or college, where I went to the University of Texas at San Antonio and got a business marketing degree? Did that crap even matter? Like, I didn't know where to start. So I felt insecure on where to start. How deep should I go in this topic? What would be helpful for the audience? And then I got asked again from a different host, podcast host, and I felt guilty this time. This is comedy. I felt guilty because I felt like I shared too much. And because I shared too much, I just felt like I was all over the place with my sharing. So over the years, I've learned to just refine my short story about why I started JRM. And I'm talking about this from a founder CEO standpoint. This still helps you if no matter if you're a B2B marketer, content creator, copywriter, salesperson, the CEO, VP, many departments. Like this is super, super helpful for you because it really helps you to understand why you do what you do and what you're passionate about. And if there's a need in the market, how you provided a solution and how you better the market. So all that stuff is valuable. And people will start reaching out to you if you're providing consistent and valuable content on social media platforms to be a guest on the show. So just want to equip you guys with that. So here's for all those who are curious or new followers about my company, JRM Web Marketing. And I say short story because this short story is what I share on podcasts when I'm a guest. And I've refined this over the years and I really love it. And I'm also seeing that I need to talk about it more on podcasts, including my own. And I get to a point where I get tired of talking about it over and over and over, but it's super important to talk about it, have it embedded in your head, engraved to where you're like, I'm always going to be talking about this because you never know who your audience is. You never know what other people are listening to the show. They might be new followers, right? But even if they heard about your story, maybe this time it resonates with them differently. So all good stuff. Let's dive right in. I don't want to keep going on a rant now. So here's why I started JRM Web Marketing. I'm calling this the JRM Web Marketing short story. So JRM Web Marketing began as a result of a search for a solution for a problem that no one else was solving. When I was a corporate B2B marketer at the time, I wore many hats, as most of you guys do, including managing agency partners and maintaining our HubSpot website. And I needed an experienced and responsive web developer. I thought it would be quick and easy to find someone. I was wrong. I ran into problems immediately, like agency partners outsourced their web development to overseas people who took weeks to complete a simple task. Like freelance developers were always over their heads juggling more projects than they could handle and delayed turnaround times. Like overall, a general lack of responsiveness and poor communication from account managers and developers made every task more difficult than it needed to be. And I know a lot of you guys can relate with this. So, like figuring out how long a task would take was a crapshoot. Could be a week, could be a month, could be months, plural, right? And I was dependent on unrelatable, unpredictable pieces coming together. Sadly, these bottlenecks were apparently the norm according to other B2B marketers. And it was unacceptable to me. I knew there had to be a better way. After a lot of brainstorming, I realized I didn't need an account manager. I didn't need the middle person. I didn't need a full service agency either. what I needed was a great web developer, or web dev agency partner. That's what I needed. Since no one specialized in what I needed, I created my own solution. And in 2014, JRM Web Marketing was born. We provide websites and website solutions exclusively. We chose WordPress as our only content management system because it doesn't limit creativity and is the most popular CMS in the B2B space. We focus only on B2B SaaS companies. So in the end, I created exactly the type of company I wish for as a corporate B2B marketer, which is responsive, reliable, and ready to rock and roll. I saw a need in the market and I provided a solution. I was a part-time entrepreneur. I was a full-time marketer, B2B marketer to be specific. And it's been picking up traction and growing ever since then. What I've also noticed with every founder that I've been in contact with, so by the way, that's my short story with JRM Web Marketing and why I started it. But I also want to talk about this. What I've learned about the founders that I've talked to over the years, different founders, they always have a why behind it. And it's always that there was a need in the market and they knew how to provide something better. That's exactly what happened with me. And it's so like rewarding and freeing. And at the same time, it makes me so happy. I guess it's part of the rewarding part. It makes me so happy to talk to a B2B marketer and I can relate to those pain points. I've been in their shoes. And they are having the conversation with me about, yeah, I actually don't need all these services from my full service marketing agency. And I'm like, ding, 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 ding. They have a big team of marketers. They have a WordPress website, but they don't have a developer in-house. Or if they do, it's a part-time developer that's overworked. So I was like, this has to be better. This has to be more effective and efficient. Like in marketing, you need to move fast. You can't just slow down. So that's why I started JRM Web Marketing, to eliminate the middle person and give you exactly what you need in order to move fast in marketing. And man, I've seen the company take off, but I've seen amazing marketing take off at B2B sales companies. And it's freaking awesome. I wish I had this when I was a B2B marketer, no joke. But that's the short story. Think about your short story. Read Dave Gerhardt's book, because I definitely am giving him credit for this because it really inspired me to do this podcast episode. And if you got value from this, let me know. Share it with someone who also needs to hear this, because I'm telling you, the short story, figuring out your why, is powerful. It sticks. And it's exactly why and how people resonate with you too.